Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Dr. Walls and Friends. I am here with longtime friend to the show, Grandmaster Jose Torres the second. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. You got Jose Torres up here, but where's the Latin dragon? How come that ain't written on the?
Ah, I'm trying to stay humble with that.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's
Is that
that brand and marketing.
That's it. Well, come on, get it up there. We got to change that name so people know. So people know.
Yep.
Well, I am so excited. I love when we talk. I always find out more about you every time we have a conversation. For those who are new to Dr. Walls and Friends or any show that I do, I always encourage you to have something where you can take some notes because my guests always share such valuable information. So if you are thinking about martial arts, if you are thinking about acting, or just life nuggets, trust and believe you're going to hear at least one today. And I want you to make sure that you capture it. So if you haven't subscribed to Ask Dr. Walls 525, just take a moment, hit that button. It don't cost you nothing to do that. And we're also going to find out more about Jose Torres. We're going to find out about his social media platform so you can follow him and everything that's happening with him as well. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's tell the people a little bit about you. Let's just who are you? They see you walking down the street. Who is Jose Torres?
Well, I'm very community oriented. I'm a dad like everybody else. I have three beautiful boys that I'm so proud of. My oldest son is 24. He's a master in martial arts. He actually is the chief instructor now at my studio, Team Torres Martial Arts. He's doing a great job. Went to Penn State University, and my second son is AJ Torres. He's a junior at Ursinus College, and he's a soccer player. He plays college soccer. And then we have the baby, who is 13 now, not a baby anymore, and that's
The
Mason.
star.
Yeah, the star, Disney star, soon to be, right? And Mason's 13, and he does martial arts as well, but he's a very avid soccer player. Every weekend I'm at a tournament or something with him. And matter of fact, today I got to be dad, and he's got a middle school basketball game. He's on the middle school basketball team, so I'll be at the Ridgeway Middle School today. So
Gotcha.
support him in his basketball dream. So
yes, and then the woman behind it all that holds y'all all together.
Rock,
the thread.
Yes, that's Colleen Torres. Funny story. I met Colleen when we were in grade school at the same middle school that all of our boys have been to.
Really?
And we did. Yeah, I don't know if I ever publicly told this
you
story.
you haven't told this one.
Yeah. So I was a sixth grader. I think she was a fifth grader, and we had met. One of the obviously kids meet, and then as we got, I think it was the next year older, we got involved with a singing group because I was avid. I did band, I did music, I did all kind of stuff. So they had this chorus. It was like a select chorus called Glee Club.
Okay.
And they picked the best boy singers and the best girl singers, and Colleen was one of them, and I was one of the boys. So I always thought she was a cutie. Always loved her smile, loved her hair, loved the way she carried herself. And it was funny because in eighth grade, and she was in seventh grade, we were part of this Glee Club, and we had to do this dance routine. And I was so bad because myself and another boy were picked to do like this dance routine with the girls, and Colleen and the other girl. And I wanted to be partners with Colleen, and I couldn't be partners with her. I was partners with somebody else. Now, Colleen says, I tell Colleen she didn't pick me at that time. She says that it was because at that time I had already hit like 5'9", so I was a tall kid at that time. Okay. So I had to be partners with the tall girl. But that's what she's saying. That's where we go with. That's the story. But no, I've known her for a long time.
Wow.
Both from the same community. She went to a prep high school. I went to the public high school, but we stayed friends. And she was always the person that I talked to. When I had troubles or I had like questions. She was a best friend. That's really how we first got together. And the fact that she married me is, I think, a compliment in herself, because Colleen knew all my dirt with like every girl I ever dated.
Come on.
Any problems, Colleen knew, and I would always talk to her. And she was always there for me. And but we never dated. We never dated, and I think she kind of kept that distance away. She didn't want to get involved with my drama.
Right, right.
She didn't want to get involved
She
with my drama.
knew.
Yeah, she knew. But it was funny because, like I said, I was like, man, I really care about this girl, and she was special to me. She knew a lot about me, and we stayed in contact, and then we went to college, and kind of did our thing, and then kind of ended up coming back together, and yeah. This past year we celebrate 23 years of marriage.
Wow,
crazy, and she's definitely been behind me and supporting me, with all my crazy ideas and ventures.
She has truly been a life partner. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us. Every time we do an interview, you come up with another story that's like, I don't think I shared this before. See, y'all, that's why I keep having them come back. All right. So throughout your life, there has been this entity known as martial arts. So how did that come into your life, and what particular style is it?
So my mom signed me up, at the local martial arts school. She had worked at it was like a counseling center for teens, and one of her coworkers, a woman by the name of Linda, was training at Hamilton Karate, which was the local, martial arts school at that time. It was a Tang Soo Do Korean martial arts school, and at the time, I really wanted to do martial arts. I was bullied. I was a little bit heavier at that time, and I was bullied. I went to Catholic school. Absolutely hated it. I dreaded every day that I had to go. It was, and it's funny because those things kind of shaped, who I am today, and things that I had to go over. But so I started martial arts, and I tell you, I fell in love with it. I was uncoordinated in the beginning. I was pretty bad. I don't think I was very good at all, in the beginning, but I kept practicing, and I was so amazed by the senior students and the masters and my master, William Hamilton, how they moved, how they just walked and carried themselves. It just amazed me. And I was like, man, this is what I want, So, back then you went to karate 5-6 days a week, that was all I did, and just trained and trained and trained. And, I remember I was supposed to do my first tournament because back then our school didn't do a lot of tournaments, not like it does now. And I think we did one tournament a year or something like that. And I got sick. I remember my parents registered me. We were supposed to go to my first karate tournament. I was a green belt, and I got sick. I didn't get to go.
Oh,
man,
no.
I thought the world was going to end. I was so upset. So then I just kept training and training and training. And, and then I did my first tournament as a red belt. That was my first tournament as a red belt. And I think I placed, I got something in fighting and something else. And I got the itch, and then I started wanting to continue. And I really started competing when I was a black belt. Once I got a black belt, that's probably my my time, my heyday of competing. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved, the camaraderie. I loved the training, the sweat, the skills, the lessons, and, really shaped who I was, at that time. And I did get bullied. I got made fun of like in elementary school, and then I started to kind of mold who Jose was, and I got bigger and I was stronger, and I just started, my body changed, and I got in shape, and it was a really good transformation. It was definitely something that shaped me, till to this day. Till to this day. So,
do you know why your mom chose that for you?
Because I if I remember correctly, she told me the story before she passed. We used to talk about it. And, Chuck Norris was real big in the 80s, huge, and Bruce Lee. And, but Bruce obviously, was 70s, but Chuck Norris and Jean-Claude Van Damme and all those things, I would jump off the couch and try to kick stuff. And my mom was like, oh my God, I got to get this kid to do something in a trained place before he busts my house up.
Right.
Yeah. But it was good. You know what I mean? Like I really, I don't regret any of it.
Good.
I've been doing it for, oh my God, I think since 1982, so, a long, long time. And it's been such an amazing journey. I mean, really it has,
Yeah.
I got to meet wonderful people like yourself and your wonderful husband. And, I was able to establish a business and a living and some of these other opportunities because of martial arts. If I never did martial arts, I really feel I wouldn't be who I am today.
And I wanted to highlight that because it really is the thread that runs through your life. Now we're finding out your wife is also one of the threads that runs through your life as well, and has led you to do so much. So you just mentioned business. You have been in business now, is it 24 years?
So this
Uh-huh.
April 24th, I will celebrate 25 years of having.
Oh my goodness. Congratulate. Look, everybody know.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, yeah. I remember, it's funny because when I was probably a teenager, maybe around 15, 16, I remember my instructor gave me a key to the school, and I
Oh,
was able to teach the Saturday morning classes. And I loved teaching. I
mhm.
loved working with the little kids. And, I identified at that time, you know, what people wanted and kids wanted. I mean, they kind of want to look up to that older brother and that
That's
person
right.
help them and nurture them. And, that was a big thing because I didn't have that. I didn't have a
Hmm.
brother. I didn't have, older siblings or anything like that. I was an only child. And there was a lot of,
Hmm.
things that I had to deal with, on my own and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And, you know, again, that martial arts was that thread. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so funny because my mom had told me the story. I had told her, I was like, I really want to have my own school one day, and
Yeah.
she says, you will, and I was like a kid at that time. And then it's funny, we were driving past a building. My mom
Mhm.
told me the story, and it was a building, and you're going to laugh, and I'll admit this, it was an actual adult shop. It was an
Okay.
adult shop. So it was pink. Everybody knew this building in our town, right on the highway, prime real estate. I must have been like 13 or 14. And I was like, Mom, it's crazy what that building is, but that'd be a great karate school. And I remember my
Mhm.
mom looked at me like I was crazy. And she was like, What? And I was like, Yeah, that's a great school. I said, Watch, someday, you know what I mean? Maybe that's something we do.
Uh-huh.
And I might have said that in 88,
Yeah.
89, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I ended up buying that same building. Yes, I bought that same
Whoa.
building in 2011. We rehabbed
Wow.
the whole building, and that's actually where the current home of Team Torres is. Yeah, yeah.
Now you know, y'all know he getting the lights turned on and everything on that one. Look. Oh my goodness. You talk about speaking stuff into existence and claiming it as your own.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of manifestation. There is no
Yeah.
doubt, and very powerful. I've had talks about this with my students and with
Yeah.
business associates and people. Speaking it first, you have to believe it, right? You have to come up with the idea. You have to believe it yourself,
Yeah.
and you have to believe it to the point that even if you're the only person that sees
Come
that
on.
light, you got to keep pushing.
Yep.
And then what happens? The more and more you talk about it, then
Yeah.
it starts to come to fruition and it
Yeah.
manifests.
Yeah.
And I swear to you, all of the things that have recently happened to me
Come on.
versus things in the past have been through that process. And I believe it, even the negative stuff, it
Yeah.
all manifests. And you have to go through struggles and trials and tribulations in order to get to the direction that you're supposed to go,
Come on. I told
Absolutely.
y'all.
100%.
I told y'all get your notes ready. I told you he was gonna start dropping some stuff. I get told you ahead of time. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna circle back on something that you said, but I want to highlight here that Leslie said that is awesome. Congratulations on
Oh,
25
thank you,
years.
Leslie. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So um yeah, this whole idea that sometimes you just see something and you just know it. It's not even a question. It's not a belief, because with a belief there's some ideas and maybe a little doubt, but
Right.
there's this knowing
Hmm.
that that is going to be yours, that you're going to accomplish this thing.
Right.
And so anything you want to say about that before I ask my next question?
It's crazy, and I feel like you have to have this, you know, unbelievable belief and dedication
Yeah.
to what you want to do as a person, right? Because let's
Yeah.
be honest, sometimes, you know, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your grandparents, your parents, they may not see the same vision, and they're not supposed to. They're supposed to be there to help you and support you.
That's right.
Sometimes you hope positively, but
Yeah.
also sometimes negatively. Like,
That's right.
getting those people that say you're not going to make it, there's
Yeah.
no way, you're crazy. You need that as well to fuel.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I didn't understand that before. I really didn't.
Mhm.
But now I understand that. And it's also become crazy because, my wife and some of my close friends, I'll tell them, like, again, 2.5 years ago, I say, hey, I'm gonna make this movie. They're like,
Come
what?
on.
What are you talking about? you know, and then to see where it went now. And, you know, 25 years ago, hey, I'm going to open up a karate school. You know, I was a Puerto Rican guy in the suburbs. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the norm. That's not the norm. I don't care what anybody says. It's not. And, you know, I was a younger instructor. So there were different things that I had to deal with because I was in my 20s, right? So I didn't have that older presence of a man that, you know, would resonate with other men, other families. I was consistently, you know, questioned and checked and, well, why are you doing this? And because there was no validity. I didn't have that
foundation, that base.
I was this young Hispanic passionate kid that was like, hey, I'm teaching karate to your kids. And you know, it's funny, I said I always used to have beef with and I'll share this publicly, and because I'm older now, so I'll talk about it. I used to have so much beef with some of the dads. Oh my God, they would like challenge me on like, well, why are you doing this? And that's not how I learned, and the way that I trained was this. And I wasn't polished then, not in my 20s. I didn't know how to talk. So I would say, what? You know what I mean? Like, and I would kind of engage. I didn't have that soft skill yet. So, you know, I would challenge back, you know, like, what are you talking about? Obviously, you're not training now. Just listen to me. You know what I mean? And they didn't see the big picture. Now, the moms loved me, right? The young, you know, they were fine with me. But some of the dads, man, oh my God. But I appreciate now, being 47, I'm about to turn 48. I'm glad I went through those things, because now at 48, I don't have those same problems. You know, I don't want to say whatever I say goes now, but like there's that credentials, there's that
the history,
the legacy of everything that we've done. And, you know, that's empowering too, to be able to have those conversations when somebody says, well, why is this? And I can give a 25-year dissertation. This is the reason why we've done this.
Exactly.
And why we've succeeded, you know?
That's right.
But I appreciate that now. And I didn't, you know, I would get frustrated with that.
Yeah.
But, you know, learning those things, like you said, you know, like I mentioned before, manifesting it and just believing, because sometimes you're the only person that sees through those binoculars, man, and nobody else sees it. And you just got to believe. You know, there was plenty of nights I thought of the various things that I've done, you know, over the last years. And I'm just like, you know, am I doing the right thing? You know, is this vision? Am I crazy? You know, but now I'm just like, I'm not crazy. So, you know, it's happening. It's working. So, you know, let's push it forward. And, you know, dreams now become ideas, and then those ideas become projects, and they're not just dreams. We have to take action. You know, take action. They don't come forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, you know. But sometimes it gets me in trouble though too, Kathleen. Sometimes it gets me in trouble because I think I could do anything now. You know, like what do you want me to do? I'll do it. You know.
I got it. I got this. Yeah. But I love the fact, right? You talk about the vision. Sometimes it's for you only, right? You want everybody to see it. But if you think about even like a telescope or a microscope, there's only one lens, right? And it's only for you to see through. And so you see the vision of your life and all of the different pieces. And then to your point, right, you also have to be courageous enough to take the action to help co-create and manifest what you see. And so with that, somewhere a while ago, you saw this vision of yourself as an action martial arts star on the big screen.
Crazy.
Where did that come from, and where are we now with that?
Oh my God, that's how much time I got for that one. That's
come on. So, we'll take it.
You know, it's funny. As a kid, I got to tell you, and I think every martial arts, I could say maybe for boys, right, that you want to be an action star. You want to, once you learn how to punch and kick, and then you start watching these idols and these people like Chuck Norris, like Van Damme, you know, and Bruce Lee. Now, Bruce Lee was before my time. I love Bruce Lee. He's an idol of mine. But like my guy was Jean-Claude Van Damme. That was my guy. Like as he was coming up, I was, you know, training, and I was like, man, I want to be like this guy. I want to look like, you know, everything about that era of movies. And, you know, those were guys that I emulated. Those were things that I wanted to do. And I always was like, man, I want to be an actor. I think I could be crazy. I think I could be an action guy, you know, somebody that people would like. And, you know, I did some acting in high school, and I did some theater. I did some theater in college, and but I wasn't.
Now, were you also in your bedroom playing out scenes in the mirror? You know how like singers would have their hairbrush, and they said, "Were you in the mirror imitating
No,
John
no, no.
Claude?
I
Did
really
you
didn't.
have the oil on you? Were you
No,
making the faces? Okay.
no, no. I got to tell you, I learned a lot, and it was funny because in high school I got casted for three projects. I did chorus line. I
Okay.
did, and it was a smaller part, but I had a speaking role, a dance, and a couple things, and that was new for me at that time because I was still kind of finding who I was. You know what I
Okay.
mean, as a person.
Yes.
And then the next year, I ended up doing a famous play, Bye Bye Birdie, who Dick
Mhm.
Van Dyke did the movie. So
Yes.
I played Conrad Birdie.
Okay.
And I got to wear the gold suit and the people screaming and all that. And I'm telling you, I had a blast. I had an absolute, that was probably the fondest memory of my high school. You know, I got to sing three songs, I did dances, like I had a good time, but then I
Mhm.
learned like the reaction of the crowd and when you did certain
Mhm.
things and you know
Mhm.
how to sing and how to do this. And I was in band and I was in music and stuff like that. And then I did a play Grease. I was Danny Zuko.
Okay.
And that was big, right? Right. That was big because again, I'm like a Puerto Rican Danny Zuko, you know. And my Sandy, her name's Shelly Murray. It's so funny because I reconnected with her. She came to my movie premiere. I hadn't
Oh,
seen her
nice.
for 20 years. She was African American girl, so
Uh,
we had like the urban Grease,
wow.
Puerto Rican Danny Zuko, and African American Sandy. You know what I mean? But I learned a lot from that, and I was not prepared for that because of the amount
Mm.
of volume of script and
Mm.
songs. And we were a small school, so like I
Mhm.
didn't get a lot of practice time, and
Mhm.
that was my biggest thing that I learned. You know what I
Okay.
mean? To really, you got to
Yes.
take it serious.
Yes.
So then I went to college and I did two theater classes. And one of my professors, I remember I almost got in trouble because I wasn't taking it serious. And I didn't want to meet with my partner to do this monologue thing or the scene with
Mhm.
her. And then I remember oh my God, my teacher, she chewed me out. She was like an
Mm.
off Broadway lady, phenomenal. Her name was Cynthia. And she said, Mr. Torres, I really need you to take this serious. That's what she, Mr. Torres,
Mhm.
I need you to take this serious. And I remember I got pissed off because she was like challenging me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I was like, all right. So then I dove in. I did my scene with the girl. We ended up
Mhm.
getting an A on it. And then I had this monologue scene where it was like a death and the thing. I forget
Mhm.
the process of it, but
Mhm.
and I remember she just stood up, clapping like, oh, it was great, Jose. So she talked to me after class and she was like, you know, you really should take this serious. I really think you could do something.
Mm.
Like, So I thought about it, but again, I was like 19, 20. I
Mhm.
said, well, you know what? I'll finish college. I was going for sports medicine, and then I was going to be a chiropractor. So I got into Georgia Life School, and I was going to go out to Georgia. And I said, you know what? I'll be a chiropractor. I'll move out to LA. I'll try to be an actor. So this was a game plan. And
Gotcha.
then, I reconnected with my soon to be love of life, Colleen,
Mhm.
and she became pregnant. She got
Mhm.
pregnant, and things changed. I was a different animal. So I came
Mhm.
home. I started working. Finished school. She finished school and then our life took that direction. So
Mhm.
fast forward to 2020,
Mhm.
the COVID pandemic. I started a podcast show. Like
Mhm.
everybody, we were all locked in. So I started a podcast show, and I went through my connections of different martial arts actors that I knew.
Yes.
So I made some really good connections, and one of them was with a great friend of mine now, William Christopher Ford.
Mhm.
Played Dennis in Karate Kid, and
Mhm.
also they just brought his character back in Cobra Kai. And he would talk to me about my podcast and my interview skills and different things, and he really kind of got me hyped. He's like, you should think about doing something, Jose, and blah 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 blah. So Willie the Bam Johnson, I want to say it was 2021. Willie the Bam Johnson, known for WCMAC Masters, he's been in movies
Mhm.
as well, contacts me and says, "Hey, Jose, I need a guy to play a ring announcer in my independent film, 1 out of 100. Would you do it? Just a one-day shoot." I said,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, hell yeah, I'll do it. I'll come out." That was right up my alley. So I go to the set. I practiced my 3 pages of lines. I was ready to go. And I met the director, Robert Parham, very well-known independent filmmaker. He's the man.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
he was like, "No, we're not going to do the script, Jose. I just want you to do 2 minutes ad lib, like you're watching a fight." Da 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 da. Well, I was able to do the 2 minutes ad lib, one take only. He was like, "Cut. This is beautiful. I want to use it." And then he talked to me a little bit afterwards. He's like, "What's up, Jose? You're trying to do a project together." So I had told William Ford about the what had happened on
Mhm.
set, and then William was like, "Are you serious about doing this?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Listen, I have a good friend named Jim Towns." He said he's a director. got some distributed films. He says, I think he's got something he's working on. Why don't you meet him? I'll set up the meeting and you guys talk. So I flew out to LA. I met with Jim Towns, and I started telling him, like, hey, I want to be this action guy. This is what I want to do. I'm trying to like sell myself to him. Mind you, I don't got nothing to sell, But I told him, I said, hey, I could be, because I started talking to him about Liam Neeson.
Okay.
Successful with his Taken movies. He's an actor, but he's an action guy.
Yeah.
And because I don't think at this time, or maybe there was one Equalizer at this time. And I said, look, I could be your Puerto Rican Liam Neeson. He just smiled at me, and he was like, okay. So he says, well, let's go back and forth on this script and kind of go back and forth. So we started working, 2021, 22. The script became to me, and then we moved forward with this Killer X project, and we honestly, I took it by the horns and just ran with it, and I helped with getting funding, produced it, and because I wanted it to be mine, I really wanted it to be mine, because I think the original thing, he was going to invest in it, and he was doing it under his funding, and I wanted to kind of control it, and some of my black belts and family, and give people an opportunity to be part of the film. And we ran with it. We had a small budget, and we filmed in 22 days all together.
Wow.
Yeah. It was 22 days. We did like 13 days straight, and then we did a couple sections. We had to film. So we filmed in the summer. It was 13-day shoot. And then we ended up doing a couple days in Pennsylvania in December in the cold. And then we ended up doing a couple days in LA as well. But it was 22 days, and we were so blessed. There we are. It came, and Killer X. It was a great project. I was very blessed. I was able to kind of put, Jose Torres into the character Victor Reyes and share that. And I think that was one of our biggest success and tools for me to market the film. Because Victor Jose was a part of Victor. There was some things about me that was part of that character. But I mean, I was so blessed to work with this entire cast. These big five here. I have on the left-hand corner, lower left, is William Ford. I spoke about him. On the lower right is Lawrence Waller. He plays one of the bad guys. On the top is the legend Muhammad Kisi, played Tong Po in the Van Damme movies. I mean, doesn't want to act with him. And my leading lady was Elena Churinova. I cannot say enough about her. Having to work with her as my first lead lady, and she was awesome. I mean, she really, really embraced the role. She helped me a lot, learning, because again, as cocky as I am, this was the first time that I was doing something like this. So I mean, it was like 65 pages of dialogue. And 8 fight scenes, and then I remember reading. I mean, she was so sweet to me. I would call her, and we did cold reads over Zoom, so that we could look at each other to kind of build this
rapport. Yeah,
because she was based out of LA. So we did have some actors from LA. Then we had some local guys from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York. But it was just an unbelievable experience, I got to tell you. And I'm so blessed, honestly, to have. Again, Elena and that cast, and Jim, Jim, to take a chance on a nobody, on a guy that just said, hey, I think I could do this. And Jim was like, okay, we'll make it happen. Yeah. And, it was our first film, obviously, we're very blessed on how it is. I'm very proud of it being my first film. I think it's a great foundation to kind of build and grow from.
Definitely. Well, let's give the people a little taste of the trailer.
Okay.
All right. So, all right, y'all, here we go. This is the official trailer.
We're talking about the stuff we don't talk about, aren't we?
I have a job for you. Someone killed my friend. And I want you to take care of it.
I knew there'd be things that you couldn't tell me. I just thought they were in the past.
Sometimes the past comes back.
We are not enemies. Right, Victor?
You got out clean. Not everybody gets that.
Are we safe? Are the kids safe?
I need to know who she's in trouble with.
Who's she not in trouble with?
They're gonna keep coming, aren't they?
They weren't just assassins. They're like some kind of death cult.
We're gonna put an end to this foolishness.
Are they following his back like a sick turtle? Are they able to get up?
But this is not your affair. This is her mess to clean up.
What would it take to get her out of this? Make things right.
Besides her corpse,
You and the kids are the only thing that matters to me. You know that, right?
she made her choice. Seriously, man, you have too much to lose now.
See you around.
And the Latin dragon was born.
Oh my god! You know, it's funny. I think I've seen the trailer like 1,000 times now. Movie, and then it's funny because I can't watch it subjectively. You know, well, I mean, I do watch it subjectively, but I tear it apart. I'm like, why do we do that? We should.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, the fanfare, the honeymoon stage has been over at this point. You know?
That's right. That's right. But now let's talk about this. So, what you wanted, you saw in your life, did come to pass, and now here you are, an action martial arts movie star with the first film under the belt, and it was February 2023 because I interviewed you on the red carpet. I did your red carpet.
Yep.
And here you are a year, almost 2 years later. What is this like for you?
You know what? It's funny, and you're right. It was this past 20. It was this February 2024. This past
2024. Excuse me. Yes.
So,
yes.
And it's crazy because it snowballed and got into this.
Yes, it did.
You know what I mean? We had no idea what was going to happen. Again, we had local investors. There was no big pot of money that came into this, no studio money. And we had a lot of resources and a lot of people that came together. And, I remember we had a sound issue prior to the screen in February, a huge sound issue.
Yes.
And we were just trying like, oh my God. And then we noticed with the first screening in Burlington, New Jersey, my hometown, where, originally, in all honesty, I'll be very honest, I said, man, maybe I can get 30, 40 people to come out. You're laughing, and I swear I did. I was like, all right,
I remember all of this.
People,
yes.
I hope. So then what happened was once we put the link out, then people started buying tickets, and it just started moving. So then we went from one movie theater of like 180 to 286. And then that one got filled. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I had another 50, 60 emails of people that wanted to come. So then I had to reach out to the movie theater again, and we got a second movie theater. So we did 2 movie theaters simultaneously and sold 514 tickets. I got to tell you that as a man, as a human being, that was the most humbling experience of my life, honestly, because I thought literally, my wife will come, the family will come.
Right.
But when we came and just to see that line, it was from the movie theater out the door.
And it was raining.
Yeah.
And people stood out in the rain, and they were so excited to see you and to see this movie and to support you.
It was so, it's so humbling. And I wish everybody could have that moment, you know what I mean, for them to realize that, because that moment I'll never forget. And that, kind of, it makes you like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, okay, the risk that we took, this crazy idea, like people are there. And, I will never forget all those people. And it's funny, your husband, he ended up doing a video, and I remember he followed me with the camera. And I've watched that video now a couple times because there's faces that I missed that were there, and I'm like, oh my God. And the crazy thing is the amount of people that came out, not just the volume, but the demographics of who was there, from kids to adults to senior citizens, for white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, Filipino. I mean, it was all over the place. And it was almost And I had said this to Jim, because Jim, our director, he's had multiple films be distributed, Lionsgate, he had a film distributed by Lionsgate. I mean, he's worked with some heavy hitters, and he was impressed. He was taken back. He's like, Jose, I never in a million years thought, we would have this type of turnout. And, it was a very humbling experience, honestly, something that, again, I wish everybody could experience something like that, to have that moment, and just feel that love and support, and like, oh my God, like, people waited hours, and
yes, they did,
to get it done, and the line, and as I went through, and your husband was behind me, and I appreciated that, because I got to see it after the fact, because when you're going through it, you kind of don't see it. And I tried to take my time and shook everybody's hand and said hello to everybody as I'm going through the line. And somebody was like, what about, they thought I was like running for president or something, but I wanted to, because I felt like, hey, they paid money for this ticket, they waited for me, let me at least touch everybody and let them know, hey, thank you so much, I love that you're here for me and supporting this project. And I wish my parents could have seen that, my mom and my dad. I think about that a lot, especially everything that's kind of happening. And, my mom was always my biggest cheerleader, and, she would have been crazy with this. And, sometimes I sit and I cry and I think about it, because my mom was always, she always had my back. She always was there for me. And, I think about this, and I know she's watching, and of course, but I wish physically she could have saw that. Physically, and been there with me, and I would have held her hand as we would have went through, and she could have seen everything. But very special moment, honestly. It's manifested to, we showed it in 8 different movie theaters.
I was gonna say, here, wait, let me see. I think I can actually grab this for you. Let's take a look here, and
that's the highlight. Yeah.
Here we go. I am here with none other than the Latin dragon himself.
Oh my God.
Master Jose Torres.
El Dragon Latino.
I don't believe 500 tickets have been sold for this event, and so many people.
It's just amazing. I can't explain it in words.
All right, how this thing came together, it's grassroots, a lot of support from the community.
And what was special today about the movie, all different cultures, all different races, and they believe in a Latino action guy. It's so powerful. So thank you. The emotion and this reaction that we got today was just breathtaking.
Clap, 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 clap.
Crazy. Unbelievable.
I want people to know, when you're talking about the number of people who were there, like, you can see it. That's not, that's not AI. We're not populating people. Those were real people who were there to support you. And, as you talked about, as Shannon talked about in the film, in that short right there, that it was grassroots. And so I think that is a tremendous message of encouragement as well, that when you have this vision, don't let your perceived understanding of the finances stop you from continuing. Go ahead. I feel like you have something to speak to that.
No, it is, because I got to tell you, it's hard. It's hard to make a movie, to be part of it, to act in it, to manage it, to produce it. It is a whole nother animal. And, again, having all those people come out, and again, just seeing the support and, the love and just the sincerity of people, and again, this was not a, John Wick-esque budget, Matrix style. It was nothing like that, but it was made with a lot of heart and soul. And that's what I think resonated, that's what made it successful. And then what happened was, then we started showing this film, took it on like a road show. We did 2 shows in Pennsylvania. We brought it back to New Jersey for a second showing. The second showing in New Jersey almost broke 200. We had like 180 something, and it's crazy. Oh, thank you, Deidre. Thank you. It's crazy to see, and it is hard to explain, right? I mean, I want to say what it is. faith and God and belief and things of that. You know, my family support. I never would have been able to do it without my family and my wife and my kids and, you know, the people that believed in me. But I also feel when people believe in you and they give you that support, you have to go above and beyond. Like you have to deliver. You cannot be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this. You know, you got to say, no, I'm doing this.
That's right.
I'm blowing it out and I'm doing the best that I can. And that's what I did. You know, I put the film on my back and, you know, I said, hey, I believe in this, and I'm hopefully hope everybody else believes in it, you know. But yeah, we did a successful 8th in a run. We just completed our international run. We did a showing in the Netherlands, which was amazing, in Europe. Crowd loved it. And then we just did Trinidad and Tobago about 2.5 weeks ago. And oh my God, amazing support, over 100 people there. And it was raining, you know, the streets were flooded, and we still got about 100 people to the movie theater.
Wow.
Yeah. So we might be doing something else there, because they really embraced the film. Like there's actual like fans, you know what I mean? Like,
wow.
Yeah. So, you know, we're looking at possibly do some projects and stuff there, but, and then, you know, we went through the distribution process, you know, and I learned a lot from that, and I got a lot of no's, you know, I probably reached out to 25 companies, you know, and learn, you know, the methodology and the wording and how the rhetoric you're supposed to use and the presentation of the file. And, you know, we fixed certain things as we went on. So the original movie that was showcased in February was not the version that everybody sees right now, you know. You know, it's different sound. You know, we did some sound changes. There's some voiceovers that we did, kind of adding a little Martin Scorsese. So there's a voiceover in the beginning and then a voiceover at the end, and it kind of bookends the story so people know what's going on. You know, but we finally did. We got picked up. We worked with a company, Allied Media, they did a DVD distribution deal for us, and you know, they did everything they said, and we've been so blessed, man. I remember when I got that confirmation email and they sent me the link. You know, we got our DVD movie picked up by Amazon, you know, which was awesome. And then it snowballed from there, which was the craziest. So we had an amazing run on Amazon. And it was funny, if anybody knows how those algorithms go and the ratings, you know, we weren't even in the top 100. And then it was like the next day, we broke the 100.
Wow.
8 hours later, we broke the 50 mark.
Oh, wow.
It started taking off, and then I started posting. And I'm like, oh my God, we're in the 20s. Oh my God, we're in the 15s, we're 10. And then we were like, can we break the top 10? You know, realistically, I didn't think we would break number one. I think number one was like Twister and some other film, but I'm proud to say Killer X made it to number 8 on Amazon's
new
release action. Yeah, we made it number 8. You know, I took a screenshot of it.
I know that's right.
Absolutely. And I think what that did is that helped the algorithm, and you know, Killer X started being out there.
Yeah.
And then we ended up getting picked up by Walmart, which is another huge company. And then we got picked up by Best Buy. You know, it worked out pretty good, you know. And then Barnes & Noble, you know, Barnes & Noble was the last one for the DVD, you know.
Yes.
And then we worked on, so we wanted to release the DVD first because that was like a tangible physical media. And then we tried to go into streaming because we figured, you know, and I know people do things different, but my thought was, hey, if I could tangibly, because martial artists love DVDs, that old school 80s, that was something physical that I felt we needed.
Right.
It worked well because we ended up selling a couple thousand copies.
Okay.
And, you know, what happened was it then manifested that we're like, okay, let's go into the streaming portion of this.
Yes.
So we set up again, Allied helped us. And then we were able, it took a while, you know, but in August 6th, we were able. So not too long, you know, about 6 months after it came out.
Not bad.
It went on to Prime Video, you know. And that was a huge success for us because we kind of fixed the paradigm and kind of closed that. And then from there, it got picked up on Roku. And then now it's picked up on a channel called Fawsome or Awesome. And those are like 3 paid platforms.
Yes.
Then it got picked up. It is actually, I think I said it on Roku. And then now it's just as of like 2 weeks ago, it's on a Stash Action channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
For people to watch, they can watch it for free as well. So it's getting momentum. It really has. And you know, to have a first film, number one, be picked up by anybody is amazing in itself. And then to have the various platforms we're really, really blessed. Very, very
Yeah.
blessed.
Yeah. So for everybody who is listening and watching, I have pasted all of the links in the chat room. So if you want to get the DVD, there's the link there. If you want to stream it on Prime, the link is there. And if you want to watch it on Stash, the link is there. So there is no reason not to get a hold of Killer X and watch it. And as he mentioned, right, he's on the wind down. You were just in Trinidad. What you said, was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 2.5 weeks ago. Yep.
Right.
It was right after Thanksgiving. So I did Thanksgiving, and then the next day I flew out. Good Friday, I flew out to Trinidad. Did 2 stunt workshops out there. Some casting.
Some casting, you say?
We did.
Do we have some things coming up, sir?
We do. Yeah. Trying to stay relevant.
Yes.
So we we potentially got 2 projects coming up. One is a crime drama pilot that we're going to be working on. I'm going to play a detective, and hopefully we're going to start shooting that either end of January, beginning of February. I'll be working with a company called Bold Media. So I'm really excited about that. Show a little more, some acting chops and a little bit different. I'm actually excited for that. That's a blessing in itself. But it's a pilot, so we have no idea where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to go to some short film festivals, as well as pitch it out to some of these other companies. So don't be surprised. You heard it on my lips. Maybe you see it. I don't know. Maybe the series will be picked up by Apple TV or Netflix or something like that.
Look, now y'all have already heard he's talked about how he's had visions of things when he was younger, and it has taken its time to build, right? Because you've also been in the process of growing, developing, maturing, and I think you are a true testament to delay is not denial.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And being ready for all that is to come. Because when you were the young person that said, I want to be an action martial arts star, did you imagine that you would be going to the Netherlands? You'd be going to Trinidad. You'd be going to number one, the martial arts would take you to so many places. Because I'm trying to remember where you went. You were also in Eastern Europe at one point, like all of these different places. And then now here's a movie too. So you're doing martial arts, you're doing workshops. And by the way, I'm the Latin Dragon, by the way.
It's funny because I feel like I have been blessed to have been put into this situation because, when you're a young actor, right? When you're younger in your 20s or even earlier than that, and you got to move out to LA and you got to do these other things, you got to work, you're trying to make ends meet, this, that. I'm blessed with this opportunity. If Killer X is the only picture that I ever do, I could say, hey, we did it. We brought it to fruition. I got a distributed film out there, got some positive feedback and negative feedback, but positive feedback. And I'm blessed. And I was able to say it. Whereas, I think that has been a true asset because I have a lineage of training and teaching and traveling. So now this is adding to what we've already established over the last, 40 years, I mean, really, we're in a very good place. So it's not like an actor becoming a martial artist. It's a martial artist kind of becoming, that actor. And, I'm embracing it. Honestly, I'm embracing it and I'm running with it. And I'm trying to, control my narrative and what I'm doing. So I'm in a position now where I can kind of, I run my own business. I have a couple businesses that I do. So I don't, the mortgage is paid. I don't have to be like, oh my God, I got to get another film.
Right.
Which gives me that,
it sounds like it takes
to be able to, I can kind of call, I don't want to say call my own shots because again, we're not there yet, right? I'm not at the point that I haven't gotten a $100 million deal, but I'm able to pick and choose and navigate. Hey, I want to do this project. Let me do this. This is for what I'm doing now. And I feel that that's powerful because I feel if I can still put that passion and control the narrative, then I can dictate what I want to do. And who knows, maybe something, does happen. I just got done last year in April. I did some background and it's just background work for Cobra Kai. I got to be one of the judges.
Huge.
Huge.
That's huge.
Netflix show.
Yeah.
I got pictures with, some of the cast members, and, it was not, I thought a little bit more screen time would have been there, but again, it was a great opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's things like that are going to build on top. I
That's
made
right.
great connections with some amazing cast members and some of the stunt guys. So, there's things happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's wheels turning behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, we're hopefully kind of, moving forward with that. But I feel very passionate, and confident in the direction to be able to say, hey, this is the direction I'm going in. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And kind of move forward, and then hopefully seeing where this Killer X world, goes,
Yes.
I did say this on another show. I really want to try to do, kind of a Killer X universe and have multiple films, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
build on the foundation that we've done, build
I love
on that
it.
foundation. Yeah.
Now, I do want to highlight some things in Killer X, but I also do want to transition into upcoming projects, as you talked about the detective role. There were some special cameos that took place in the Killer X movie. You want to talk about those individuals?
Yes. Well, what's funny, and I'm gonna talk about my family first.
Yes.
I was so blessed to have all three of my boys part of my first film. We had talked about doing different actors and different this, and Jim was very awesome with me to be able to say, and I told him, I said, hey, we were thinking about using some actor from Philly to play Dimitri, which was one of the bad guys for Zana, who was played by Amanda Shinover. And I said, hey, let's not use an actor. I got a martial arts master. That's my son,
That's
Ryan.
right.
So to have Ryan part of the film was amazing to me. And we had a fight scene together, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And then he had a fight scene with Muhammad, with Tong Po. So, you know what I mean? Like that was
huge.
Cool. Yeah, that's huge. That was really, really huge. AJ, my middle son, had a cameo. He played a soccer coach. So he had one line, that was Mrs. Torres. That was part of her demands. She said all three had to be in there. So we got him in. But I got to tell you, I really think who stole the movie was my youngest.
Star of the show. Yes.
And Mason had that I don't even know what it's called, like
that charisma,
that charisma, that shy boy. But then you know what I mean. He looked. Honestly, I thought he did great on camera.
He did.
I got a lot of compliments on him. He did well with the action because he does train. He did well with the lines. He had a great scene with William Christopher Ford. Him and William kind of going back and forth, and his facial expressions and kind of, that's Mason.
He's a natural.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, it's funny. I'll not to put him out there. So he, after the movie, he was like, I don't want to do that anymore. That was too much, Dad, I don't want to do this movie thing. And he was like, if I'm part of the next film, you have to kill me off. I don't want to be part of this anymore. So I'm cracking up, right? And I said, but wait. So then as these premieres started happening and people started watching the film, then his buddies and his friends and teachers started seeing it.
Yes.
Then things changed. And then hey, when's the next movie happen? Yeah. So it was kind of funny. It was definitely funny.
That is too much. So we have this, and your wife made a cameo too.
She did. She played. She was in the crowd scene at the soccer game.
Yeah.
She was also, I think she was in the background, someone else, but I don't think it made it in. But yeah, she was in the crowd scene, which I won't tell you. I have to tell you, the day she came to set, oh my God. So, and I don't know if the other men will relate to this. So I'm in the thing. I already felt uncomfortable because, again, this was my first time doing it. So I had my co-star, Elena Choronova, wonderful actress, unbelievable, beautiful human being. And then I have my movie wife, played by Jessie Groover, phenomenal stage actress. Both, again, wonderful women, beautiful women. And then my wife is there. So I got the movie wife with the girlfriend and the real wife. I want to tell you, the uncomfortableness was real. You know what I mean? The uncomfortableness was 100% real. I felt so awkward that day. I was cracking up. Oh my God. Like, yeah. That was a rough day for me.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Now, I know some I've recently seen some interviews with some actors and actresses. They talk about because they're married, there's certain things they will not do with their romantic lead. Right. And for some, I think it was oh, I'm blanking on her name, but she was a child star and now she does a lot of movies on like Hallmark.
Right.
And she talks about how like maybe she'll hold a hand, but there'll be no kissing, or she might hug, but it'll be a fast embrace and different things like that. Is this something that you have considered,
But,
especially in that moment?
there was rules and regulations that were set in my contract prior to me doing Killer X. So it was funny because I think in the original script I was supposed to like kiss my wife and we were supposed to do some other stuff. And I think after I had read it, I reached right back out to Chip. I said, this is not happening. This is not happening. This is not that type of show, and Colleen was so, supportive and I really respected of her. Yeah. But it was funny because Chip's like, hey, you have to like hold her hand at least, can you do something, and it was just funny. So the highlight, I want to say our love scene was a hand. I think I grabbed her hand in the restaurant. That was my movie wife. And then I did kiss my movie wife on the forehead. That was as hot and heavy as it got. That was about as hot as it headed. You know what I mean? So Mrs. Torres was pretty firm on that. Although, if we get this $100 million deal, her mind might change a little bit.
Got you.
Yeah. She said that. She says, depending on what it is. She says, but as of now, so. Yeah,
but you know what? It's real, and I know we're laughing, but it is very real. And I know even in the work that we do with Kadaga, when people are dating, sometimes the other person will say, "Are there love scenes? Is there any kissing?" And we make sure that we don't put any of that in our films to ensure that the people on set are comfortable, but also the people behind the scenes are comfortable.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think that's big, and that was one of our things with with Killer X. We really wanted to try to make it not a family, it's not a Disney movie at all, but enough that kids could come see it, and it was respectful to everybody involved with it, and I think we did that. I
agree.
I think that moving forward, and some of the other projects, obviously, there's going to be some different things, even with myself, my own training, and there might be some shirt ripping and stuff like that. Yeah. But that's probably as far as it'll go at this point. We're at level 2 now, But notice that's me. That'll be me, not anybody else. So yeah, that's okay. That's approved.
There we go.
Project, but you know what I mean. I think it's important that everybody involved is comfortable. And, we send a good message, and the biggest thing is not to do anything obviously that my wife wouldn't approve of or anything like that. So
I highlight that for our listeners, because sometimes when people are looking to get into the industry, there are boundaries and parameters that you have to make sure that you set for yourself and for your loved ones, and it's important because they're going to be in your life. So these are conversations that you need to have as you're going into something, and it's okay to have these conversations. And even as you've mentioned earlier, really reading the scripts that come to you for you to say yay or nay. You don't have to take everything that comes for the sake of getting your foot in the door.
Right. And again, like I said, there's different levels. So if you're just starting out in your 20s, it is a different world. It's totally different. Like I said, I'm in a very, very unique but powerful position right now. Because like I said, if Killer X is it, oh my God, I'm so blessed. Thank you to everybody that supported. We're not done there. I'm definitely saying that now. We're not done. But
not at all.
The biggest thing is to try to, navigate and pick the projects that we want to do. And I think those other, bigger film projects will come. I believe in them. I do. I have my eyes kind of set on a specific project that supposedly supposed to be coming around the next 2 years. So I want to try to, make my case for that. So I'm
okay
about it a little bit, but I want to try. You know what I mean? I want to try, but I like being able to kind of navigate. You know what I mean? Do what we have to do. Now the downside to that again is they're not major motion pictures by big production companies, so they're going to be small independent films. But I'm okay with that right now. And I think I think we could make a lot of noise, and I think Killer X has done that. I even have different people coming to me to come on my podcast show
Nice.
because of the noise that we're making,
Good.
So I'm excited, I'm
Good.
really, really excited. Yeah.
And I like the fact, as you've talked about, yes, there is the Killer X universe that is in the process of being built. And there's these other projects like The Detective and whatever else has captured your attention so that you're not a one hit wonder and you're not staying in one lane.
Right. We're very blessed because I think that, there's so many avenues and directions I think we can go. And, Killer X was an action film. It was not a martial arts film. There was fighting in it, but it wasn't a prototypical, cult martial arts film. I do want to do one of those. 100%. I want to do a throwback movie to, the 80s and that old school, martial arts. I do, that's kind of the thing. This moniker, it's funny because I've tried not to call myself that, but, obviously with you and Ed and, Amakisi and then some of my other people that put it on social media, this Latin Dragon, I'm very blessed because there was a Latin Dragon movie. I think that was made like 20 plus years ago. Fabian Carrillo was, the one that did that one.
Okay.
And I think there was one other fighter that was kind of named that, but it was funny because Muhammad, really started, he said it in your interview and then he's like, El Dragon Latino,
yes.
always on it. And it's funny because it's starting to pick up a little bit of momentum. I'll be honest with you, we're working on kind of putting a script together for a Latin Dragon movie, a new
Excellent.
one. So to be able to have that, that traditional martial arts movie, but then crime drama and even action comedy, things of that nature. So I want to try to stay as broad as possible.
Nice.
Because I don't have a niche yet. I don't have a niche, and I don't want to, kind of box myself in.
Yeah.
So it's a good role or a good project that I think I want to try to be part of it.
Definitely. So what's next?
Well, I think, what we're going to try to do, I think we're going to have a big announcement in regards to Killer X. So I'll say it here. We're going to have a big announcement in Killer X in the new year, talking about the direction that we're going to be going in, expanding the universe. And I'm excited, I'm very, very excited. I'm hopefully bringing back, some characters and some new characters and expanding on this potential franchise, because I really think that, we've haven't even, we've nicked the surface of what can be done with this, when these characters and building Victor Reyes and what happens to his family and then these different assassins and things of that nature. So, but we're working on, trying to get this nice, like I said, universe with a good arc that can kind of encompass this before we really go out there. But yeah, we're definitely working on that. We're going to have a big announcement coming up. So we love to, share.
All right. Of course.
When we come back.
You know it.
Yeah. The crime drama, like I said, working title is My Brother's Keeper.
Okay.
So we're going to be working on that. And then, we're seeing, like I said, maybe something with this Latin Dragon or some precursor to the movie. Because there's some other martial artists that want to work with me now, which again is
excellent.
So humbling, so humbling. So
huge. Now, all right, y'all. So y'all remember this face. Y'all remember, because you gonna start seeing it in all types of places. And you're gonna say, wait, I remember him from Dr. Walls and Friends. Yes, it is him. It is him. Now, as far as your martial arts school, you talked about your eldest being really kind of running and teaching right now. For those who are interested in martial arts for themselves, for their children, grandchildren, all ages, what do they need to do in order to connect with you or connect with your school?
So the name of our school is Team Torres Martial Arts. So if you're based out of New Jersey, we're in South Jersey, located right in Edgewater Park. Again, as I said, we're going to be celebrating our 25th year anniversary. I'm so blessed to be able to do that. We do offer classes for children and adults. And, our biggest thing is we're part of the community. We support the athletic events. We support, the PTO and some of these other programs. And I think if you're interested in martial arts and one of the, kind of mantras and things that I've kind of stood behind is you have to find what's right for you. And I think that, it could be my school. It could not. It could be the guy down the street. But as long as you pick something and you commit to it and you allow yourself to embrace the philosophy, the training, and the humanity and humility of what you're going to learn,
Yes.
I think that martial arts is good for everyone. I honestly think martial arts should be in school systems, as a lot of school systems that don't do physical education anymore.
Yeah.
When you and I were younger, you climbed the rope, you did
That's
front
right.
rolls. They don't do that anymore. They
Yeah.
don't. You're not climbing ropes anymore.
Wow.
You're not doing a lot of stuff, and it's a shame because this day and age of the kids, and I see it as they come into our studio. Everybody's on the laptop, everybody's on the phone.
Yeah.
And that lack of socialization and communication. You're seeing that, and even just the overstimulation of kids. Because again, parenting now is different than it was 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So people are out, and you can look, and if there's a family with kids, there's a child, and he's got a tablet, he's got something.
Yeah.
So he's consistently getting stimulated.
Yeah.
And that has a whole nother issue. But I think martial arts in general is good. Obviously, you want to find a good school for a good fit and get what you want out of it. Because everybody's martial arts journey is different. Some people just want to throw kicks. Some people want to get belts. Some people want to be tournament champions. And some people just want to make a difference in their life. And that's what I think martial arts can do. Gives you that solidarity to kind of stay focused. And, it would, I think it's important. I think it's really important. Yeah.
Definitely. And then you have some events coming up next year as far as, right?
Yeah. So like for our school, we have our 25-year anniversary on April 24th. We are going to be selling tickets for that if anybody wants to come. Then we have our big NAFMA National Championship Memorial Day weekend, which is down in Atlantic City. We are working on a potential event in California, which might be coming up, working with the Martial Arts History Museum. So I should have an announcement about that within the next week.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to think any more traveling. Might be doing Spain and Puerto Rico later in the year for some advertising and some events. But yeah, we're busy. It's going to be busy. And like I said, the filming of My Brother's Keeper, and then potentially some other projects within Killer X. So I'm excited. It's going to be a big year. I think 2024. From February to now, it's just been phenomenal. We're so blessed with what's happened. So we're hopefully kind of taking that momentum and moving forward to 2025.
Fantastic. So last but not least, how do people stay abreast of all that you're doing? What social media should they be following? What website should they be looking at?
So I did, if you notice, I have my full name up, Jose Luis Torres II. That was a little bit easier on Facebook and Instagram and those things. So you can obviously Google search the name. Follow me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on TikTok as Martial Arts Experience, which is my podcast show. But if you follow Jose Luis Torres II, you can follow Martial Arts Experience. You can also follow Killer X. Killer X has some social media platforms as well. And we're building. We're always building and trying to get out there. So the biggest thing is again, you can also our YouTube channel, Martial Arts Experience, has all of our interviews, has some Killer X videos. But if you want to stay abreast, definitely follow us on those platforms. And it's cool now because of the way the AI is and the amount of searches on Killer X now.
Yes.
You literally type in your Google search Killer X. Oh, all kind of stuff's going to pop up. Like there's actually, you see the movie thing now. So normally it was funny, like 8 months ago, you type in Killer X and you would see like a link to something.
Right.
Where now, you type in Michael Jackson's picture comes up,
a
little bio, but not Wikipedia. It's actually an AI bio, right?
Now
Killer X has made enough movement and algorithm that the picture pops up on the poster. It says it's a movie. It says what it is. It tells you the brief thing, and then it gives you everywhere that you can find it. So just type in Killer X. Make sure you go to our IMDb. If you have seen the movie, please give us a good review. Reviews help us move up.
Yes.
As well as on our personal My IMDb, which is my name. That helps us as well. So we're trying to. We have gotten some wonderful, support on social media. But we also get a couple haters too, which is good. So I heard that a lot of people hate you. You didn't make it yet, so we do have a couple haters on our social media. That's positive, I guess, right?
So we gotta outweigh them with the positive. So y'all be sure to check him out. The links are in the chat. You can purchase the DVD, Amazon, and other online platforms, as you talked about, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, so forth. You also have the various, you can stream it on Prime, you can on Roku, and you can also watch it for free on the YouTube channel, which is Stash. And all of those links are right here in the bio, in the write-up on the YouTube channel, the Ask Dr. Walls 525. You'll see links to his Instagram and something else I can't remember, but it's in there. So, your YouTube channel. So please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on all platforms. It only takes a moment to click the button, and it helps make a difference. Well, Grandmaster Torres, aka the Latin Dragon, because I'm gonna forever call you the Latin Dragon. That's just the way it's gonna happen. We thank you so much for your time today. We look forward, of course, to you coming back next year so we can talk some more. And for everybody who's watching, thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to thank all the viewers and Dr. Walls. Thank you so much. Always, it's a pleasure, and thank you for your support, love, and everything. So thank you, and I wish you happy holidays and everything.
Thank you. Same to you, and happy holidays, everyone. All right, y'all. I got one more this week on Thursday. So if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. I'll be talking with author SK. Author SK, and she writes adult romance. I call it smut. She calls it. So we will be talking with her on Thursday evening. All right, y'all. Until we meet again, as always, God bless and continue to live your greatest life. See y'all soon. Take care.